In today's video, we're going to be learning how to call ChatGPT from R using just a couple lines of text. This is completely free to do and it's really straightforward, and you can do it in just a few minutes thanks to an R package that someone has created. If you find today's video helpful, please make sure to subscribe to my channel so that I can keep making videos like this. I'm sure everyone watching this video has heard of ChatGPT already, but if you haven't, it's a chatbot that's created by OpenAI that was released in November 2022 and has quickly gained a ton of media attention for its ability to generate impressive answers by using text input that actually sounds like it was written by a human. It can also remember what a user has said earlier in the conversation, but as we've seen in the media, ChatGPT can generate incorrect information and produce that information in a way that seems really confident. Nonetheless, ChatGPT is super impressive, so let's learn how we can use it in R. First, let's send something to ChatGPT in the browser version, which we can do by going to chat.openai.com/chat. You will need to create an account in order to do this. And it can also sometimes be difficult to get logged in because there's a lot of people who are trying to use this tool at the moment. So you might have to be patient or try at different times of the day in order to get access to the chat. Let's ask ChatGPT, what is the meaning of life? And it starts generating an answer that is quite long and impressive and generally a good answer to this question. Now, if we want to be able to do something like this from within R, we're first going to need an API key from OpenAI. So if you already have an account, you can go to log in. Otherwise, you can sign up for an account. And once you're logged in, if you go to the top right, where it has your profile picture and says personal, you can go to view API keys and then create a new secret key. Once that pop-up comes up, just press OK. But keep in mind that the only time you'll be able to see that key is when you generate it. So you will need to save it somewhere, or else you'll need to create a new secret key afterwards. Now we're ready to use this API key in R. And to do that, we're going to use a package called gptchatteR. I'll put the link to this GitHub repo in the description of the video. And this is a package that someone has created in order to interface with the OpenAI API. And this is where you're going to find all of the documentation for this package. Let's open up RStudio, create a new R script. First, you'll want to install the gptchatteR package. Note that in order to do that, you will need to first install the DevTools and OpenAI packages. And then you can install the gptchatteR package using the install_GitHub function from the DevTools package. Once you've got that installed, you can load the gptchatteR package. And then from here, everything is really straightforward. We're going to use the chatter.auth function from this package to provide our API key. I'm not actually going to paste mine in, but this is where you would paste yours. And next we use the chatter.create function to initiate a chat session with ChatGPT. And finally, we can use the chatter.chat function to say something to ChatGPT. Here I'm going to use the what is the meaning of life question from before, and I'm going to set the argument return response to true. And I'm going to assign the results to an object called response. In the console, I just went ahead and ran the chatter.auth function, replacing this string with my actual API key. And now I can run line 3, which will create the chat session. And if it works successfully, it'll tell us that the chatter was created. And now we can send our message to ChatGPT. And assuming that our key worked properly, it should take just a couple of moments to provide an answer. We can see that the results got sent back to us as a list of length 6. So in order to actually extract those results, there's one last step, which is looking at the choices element of the response list. And then we want to select the first element of that. So if I run that, we get this answer returned to us in the console. This answer is pretty much the exact same as what we saw when we asked ChatGPT in the browser version, but it's basically like a summary version of what we saw here. There's also some other really cool things that you can do using this package, which is all explained in the documentation. But for example, you can set the option feed equals true to have ChatGPT remember the information in one message to be used in future messages. And that's all there really is to it. From here, the possibilities are essentially endless. For example, you can easily turn this into a Shiny app where you provide your API key and then you type something that you want to say. Again, I'll use what is the meaning of life? And now I get the results outputted in my browser instead of using it from directly within RStudio. The other thing that this is super helpful for is for those times where you get blocked out of accessing the browser-based chat directly because of high volume. You might find that your API key actually lets you still query ChatGPT even when you can't log into the browser-based version. Huge thanks goes out to the author of this package. I'm sure this would be much more complicated to do if someone hadn't done most of the work already for us. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and please consider subscribing to my channel.